Welcome into the Flame Central podcast powered by Alcova Mortgage. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, which you can watch our show every week on the Liberty Flames YouTube channel, you'll notice I'm all by myself here today. No Joe, no Emily. If you're familiar with the show at all, you can probably guess where Emily is. She's on her bi-weekly vacation. Joe, not sure where he is, probably on a golf course somewhere. But before you think, boy, this show is going to be really lame, we're just going to have to listen to Matt talk all day long. We actually have a great interview we taped at the end of last week with Ritchie McKay, head men's basketball coach. We taped that while Joe and Emily were still here. And we have an extensive conversation about the transfers that are coming in for the Flames, what it's like working through the transfer portal in this age of college basketball, and just what was learned through the first year of Conference USA play. So you're going to want to stick around and listen to that. A great conversation with Ritchie McKay. But some other stuff we want to get to really fast, get you caught up on some stuff you may have missed over the weekend involving Liberty Flames athletics. First off, NFL draft took place this past weekend. Xavier Gadlin, Liberty offensive lineman, while he wasn't drafted, and that wasn't necessarily unexpected, he did sign after the draft with the Tennessee Titans. So signs with them, free agent deal. For the time being, 2 Liberty Flames with the Tennessee Titans organization, with Malik Willis there as well. So Xavier Gadlin going to get an opportunity with the Titans there. And Tyren Dupree, Flames leading tackler from a year ago, excuse me, he signed a mini camp invite with the New York Jets. So a chance to at least turn some heads there, a chance to maybe earn a bigger opportunity if he plays well at that mini camp. But Tyren, a great kid, so happy for all that took place with him here this past year, as he really had a breakout campaign in his 6th year with the Flames. He's getting an opportunity with the Jets. So great news for those 2 guys. Hopefully they can make the most out of their pro opportunities. Want to give a shout out to Liberty Golf. And we talked about them a couple of weeks ago on the podcast, or maybe it was last week, how, they've been so good over the years that this year felt like, man, a little bit of a struggle. Well, listen, they got, into the Conference USA championship, and what do you know? They come up clutch. They end up winning the thing, and they're moving on to the NCAA regionals. It's a little bit different. Conference USA, the format is different. Most conferences, or at least what Liberty's played in the past, it's strictly stroke play. So you play a certain number of rounds. Whatever your team score is, that's it. Top score wins. In Conference USA, you play 3 rounds of golf, stroke play, and then the top 4 teams move on to match play. Thankfully, because Liberty needed that. They were not the top team after the 3 rounds of stroke play. So match play, if you don't know, basically it's one team against another. You're 5 players, they're 5 players. Each guy goes head to head, and you got to win best out of 5 out of those matches. Liberty advanced. They end up beating Sam Houston 3-1-1 in the semis. They go on to face UTEP in the finals, and they actually needed 5 playoff holes. They were tied 2-2, so they needed 5 playoff holes, Josh Ryan being that dude that ended up winning it on the 5th playoff hole. Liberty now goes on to their 8th straight NCAA regional. So that tells you just how good this program has been. They'll find out where they're playing on Wednesday when the brackets are announced for that. But congrats to Liberty Golf. Sometimes you just had those teams that just know how to win, even when it's been a struggle. You get in those situations, they just know how to get it done, and Liberty did. So awesome for them. Quickly around some of the other sports over the weekend, baseball dropped 2 of 3 to Samford. They were out of conference this weekend, so they're still in 4th place in Conference USA. Big week for Liberty this week. They host Campbell Wednesday night, and then they host FIU this weekend. FIU, they're in 5th place in Conference USA. So if the Flames want to stay in that top half of the conference as we come down the home stretch of the season, they need to take care of business this weekend against FIU. And then softball, they won 2 of 3 over UTEP. By doing that, they clinched the number 1 seed in the Conference USA tournament. In fact, Liberty is done with conference games at this point in their schedule. They're now 31-19, 19-5 in CUSA play. They host Virginia Tech, top 25 here on Wednesday, and then they go to finish out the season, 3 games on the road at top 10 LSU. So Dot saying one last test for the girls here in this final week as they prepare for the Conference USA tournament. That'll kick off on May 8th out in New Mexico. So some real challenges here in the final week for Liberty softball. But the way they've been playing, who knows, maybe they can steal a couple of wins here in the final week of the season. And then one last update before we get to Ritchie McKay. Liberty lacrosse has had kind of a struggle this year. They've had some injuries they've had to deal with. They go on the road. They lose to rival Jacksonville 12-11 in overtime on Saturday. That was the final regular season conference game. What do they do now? They turn around and open the conference tournament at Jacksonville again. So that game's going to be on Thursday. So Liberty gets them again. Was it the last 2 meetings Liberty has had with Jacksonville? Both overtime losses. That includes the ASUN championship game a season ago. So we'll see if they can find a way to get by them here this week. And if you do that, you're in the championship. So you beat Jacksonville on Thursday, you're in the championship, and you've got that monkey off your back. Maybe they have a chance to kind of do what golf did and forget about the regular season and close out the title on a little bit of a run. We shall see. So as I said, Thursday, they'll start things off in the ASUN championship for lacrosse. All right, we want to get to this interview with Ritchie McKay, talking about all things transfer portal, the new additions, and talking about what we said going into it has been the most interesting offseason of the Ritchie McKay era, in my mind. So many changes. They're coming off a season where you felt like maybe you didn't play as well as you wanted to. New conference, how would you adjust? Then a bunch of departures after the season. So a very interesting time for Liberty basketball, and Ritchie McKay addressed it all with us.
Why do you listen to the Flame Central podcast powered by Alcova Mortgage? Why? Well, I'll tell you, because we get exclusive interviews with the best of the best. Breaking news, we'll have him on the show.
Bam, we got it.
We got him. Head men's basketball coach Ritchie McKay. You asked, we delivered.
Bam, we're on.
He delivered. Wow. Thanks so much for coming on this show in the month of April.
Yeah.
You know it's big news.
Yeah.
Well, it's my pleasure just to be invited again.
Yeah.
Well, it was looking a little dicey there.
Get out of
for a
here.
couple weeks.
Get out of here.
You are always welcome on the show. Some new additions on the mountain we are so excited about. We'll talk about and dive into each of those players in just a moment. But my first question to you is, I'm sure you've been coaching for a long time, a long time. How has it been for you, the adjustment? You know, when you say bye to players, it's usually because they're graduating and they're seniors. Now you're having to say bye to players after 1 or 2 seasons and then re-recruit, or what that whole space looks like is so different. So what's been the biggest adjustment for you?
It's definitely different. College basketball is it's changed. It's not like we knew it even 24 months ago. So I think it's just meeting our reality and embracing it, just walking into it. I think if I had the choice, I'd love to get them as freshmen and have them go through the process of maturation, where on and off the floor they become the better version of themselves. But I think that's non-existent in this space. So I think for us, it's just to build authentically into their lives and make sure they know we have a genuine investment in what's in their best interest. And I think that always breeds a foundation of trust. And anytime you have that, you have a chance for a healthy relationship.
So you get a season in Conference USA under your belt. You kind of get a little bit of the lay of the land in terms of the conference. You obviously have some departures. As you went in to this recruiting cycle, if you will, kind of what was your focus? Like was there were you looking more type of player? Obviously, the person is very important. I know that as well. But what were you going into it looking for?
Yeah, Matt, good question.
You never say that whenever halftime podcast, you never say that when I ask questions.
I mean, there might be a reason. Just full disclosure, I'll take ownership in an 18-14 record. You know, look, we've been able to experience a ton of success. We've been really blessed by that. We've created an expectation, and typically your expectation is your best season. And our best season, we've done okay in those years. So not having had a season like that, again, I got the ownership in that. We weren't built for Conference USA from a size, length, athletic standpoint. But our recruiting, we're way in advance.
Right.
We had guys sign 2 and 3 classes ahead. So what do you do when you have that? And so I think with the departures that we had, we were really intentional on building hopefully a roster that could match some of the teams or the opponents that we have in the league. And I feel great about what we were able to do in a relatively short period of time.
Any fear that you're too big? No, I'm kidding. No, I'm joking. Go ahead.
No, but the heat from social media, I'm going to tell you right now, Coach, I borderline could have lost my job. I put on some armor, and I was going to war for you.
See,
I had to mute people left and right.
We had to take away her phone for a time period.
Yes.
Put it down.
Those expectations, though, you obviously want them, but as a staff and as a program, how do you manage that internally?
Look, it's the day we live in. Like it just is what it is. You never know why someone is disgruntled, upset, frustrated that you're not winning enough. But no one's exempt from it. Like Coach Bennett and some others,
Right.
even blue bloods. Like it's the day we live in. And honestly, we don't garner identity from what we do, what we have, or what other people say about us. Our identity is always going to be placed in who we are, whom we belong to. But I also think there's a piece of me that I feel like there's a life behind the message in not being defined by the scoreboard. And I'm old enough, and as you alluded to earlier, way old enough that
Wise enough.
that I'm not trapped by that. Look, no one knows the burden we carry as head coaches. Like it never stops in your mind about trying to please Flames Nation or the parents of our players or the guys that we do life with. Like we want what's best for them, and we want them to experience their dreams. Like there's a taxation in that's real. Yet, like you won't enjoy your life if you're trapped or crippled by the opinions of others. And you know what they say, if you live by their praises, you'll die by their criticism. So we really just try and honestly take each day with a deep sense of gratitude and try and compete to give our very best.
Well, I should have asked him that advice earlier to save me on a lot of therapy appointments because it's been the focus. I'm just
Coach, with that being said, as you navigate your way through the transfer portal, and it's the saying has become, I hear a lot of coaches say, it's all about the money. It's all about the money. Okay, so what are the things that you there's a lot about the money, but what are the things that you can do as a program to attract the kids to Liberty and to keep them here, to be able to say, yes, we understand that the money's important, but at the same time, here's what we're doing where it's not all about the money.
Yeah, Joe, if we got them all flamethrowers.
Yes. Yeah, we can do that.
Now we're
talking.
Yeah, like,
we can line them up.
I know a guy.
Yeah, you know a guy.
Yeah, I think that's what's different about us. Like our culture is one in which, we have expectations and standards that we want you to adhere to, and we don't compromise on those. Like we really want to represent our university and our families in the right way. But I think the time that we spend with them, the unconditional love that we try and express, like this recruiting class that we got in the spring, the portal class, that was a direct relation to the returner's investment in and experience in sharing that when they came on their visits. And like I think that's what's different about us. Look, we used to be non-existent in the NIL space, and with the hard work of some people that in Flames Rising and Ryan Hippler's had a hand in managing that a little bit. We've at least gotten to a point where, like, I don't think our guys feel like, well, we're losing out on this, that, or the other. And though we can't compete with most out there, we have something that I don't think a lot of places have. Like we've got a campus that embodies being a part of something bigger than yourself.
Let's go through these guys. Do you mind going through and just giving us a couple comments?
Yeah, I have a cheat sheet if you need them.
Yeah. You actually took notes?
That's a first.
First off, I want to tell you this. I ran into somebody, I told her this at a baseball game a few weeks ago.
Random people on the street.
And this lady
just
comes
coming
up to
them.
me and she says, hey, I love everything you guys do, but what I love the most are the halftime interviews with Emily and Coach McKay. I said, well, that's one person. So she loves, keep doing what you're doing. Let's start. Taelon Peter. This is an exciting looking player out of Arkansas. Tell me a little bit about him, 6'4".
Yeah, Taelon he played at Arkansas Tech for Coach Downey, and they had a really good year. He signed Division I coming out, and he's got an unbelievably close-knit family, great relationship with a mentor of his mom, and he's got a very serious girlfriend by all indications. It's it could be a
Ring by spring.
It could be a ring by spring,
Okay.
but
Did we just break news here? Does she know? She's not watching. She's not watching.
Clip that and send it,
Sure
please.
she is.
yeah. But and he's got an explosiveness about him that I love. Like get it to the basket, finish at all three levels. He's got deep range, and I think he's got the propensity to be a really good defensive player. Usually, the longer you're in the pack line defensive system, the better. So. We as a staff will have to address all the newcomers, but man, he's athletically gifted enough to be really, really good on that end.
Owen Aquino. First off, who was the last JUCO player that you got? Do you remember?
Kyle Prohaska when I was at New Mexico.
Wow,
some
what a call.
17 years ago.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
This says a lot about Owen then.
It's been a long time since I've been to a junior college game. As a matter of fact, when I went to see him, I told him this is the first time in, I think, 18 years that I've recruited a junior college player.
Wow.
And Owen's well worth it. He was a U20 national team for Spain. And, man, he's got, I hear some comparisons to Zach Cleveland, but that's just because they both make really good decisions with the ball. They can handle it. They can play make. Owen's got, like Zach, an ability to really penalize a mismatch and play out of a double team. So, I think having those bookends, I think will be a tough guard. And there'll be a learning curve when you go from junior college basketball to Division I. There's a runway that you'll have to. Hopefully, Owens is shorter than most, but I think because of his IQ, I think he'll have a smooth transition.
All right, an interesting guy, Isaiah Enan, big-time prospect. I know he had a couple of just years where he didn't get to play because of injury.
Yeah.
Tell us about him.
What a fabulous kid. He's 23 and just an unbelievable person. Just to show you the character that he possesses, he sat out 2 years in a row with knee injuries, ACLs, and comes back, trains, rehabilitates, and he was a starter for Minnesota at the beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. Now he got trapped by them having a really good center, or modern-day big, and Dawson Garcia, who's been at multiple high major schools, and then Cam Christie, who is declared for the NBA draft. So got caught a little bit in a numbers game, and there's some polish that he needs in his game. But boy, what a talent! I think he was a 4-star or whatever coming out from Germany. Just our fan base is gonna love him. He's really articulate and very conscientious.
You know what that sounds like? That sounds like a Flames Central story.
You guys have gotten international.
That seems like a feature.
Yeah, you're covering a lot of continents.
Yeah, love it.
Jayvon Moffmer.
Yeah, known Jayvon for a while now because my son Gabriel played at Trevecca, and Jayvon and his brother Brandon played at Cedarville, and I saw him play, and actually went to visit with Coach Estep, who's a friend of mine, this fall because I was making the tour of some Dayton recruits, and I watched them practice. And I thought, man, who could play for us? And so when he went in the portal, that was an easy one for us. We already had an evaluation of him and knew some people that knew him well. His coach, one of his teammates, Chris Rogers, who played at Blue Ridge, Darius McGee. So that one for us, we were probably going to have a chance at just because of his familiarity with our program. And man, when he went in the portal, we went guns a-blazing. This portal class, if you will, I'm really excited about them. Obviously, there's a transition in the way a team unites and bonds, accepts roles, and plays with a chemistry and a selflessness. You can never predict that. You can hope, but I just think that'll be the crucible, if you will, for how far we can go as a program in the coming season. The more united we can become, I think the better chance we have to compete for a league championship.
So when these teams look different every year, guys coming and going, what do you do? How do you find new ways to build that chemistry maybe in the off season, off the court? We've seen football do the dog patch Olympics.
You don't have to.
I don't know if you want to do a belly flop
That's not
contest.
required. There are other ways.
But what ways do you think this team specifically? I know a guy who has a pickleball complex court. Can.
Are you in that league?
We'll talk after.
Well,
No,
you know,
but you can come out
Augusta
anytime.
National.
Yeah, but you can come anytime, Coach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't get me started.
So I can come.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I think, Emily, fair question. I think that we.
Like that's like on the surveys, you know, that you get on like how clean a bathroom is at an airport. You got
Satisfactory.
awful, fair, good, Matt Warner, Joe Young. Like that is the scale, you know? But please answer my fair question.
Could you repeat it again? I think in any relationship, obviously the amount of time that you invest in that, I think the better chance you have of building a relationship of trust. So I think us spending time together will be the key. And again, there's a language, a common language within our program that exists where I think guys value one another. They're okay with the nature of sacrifice. You know, we want to say we have a brotherhood. Well, like if you have a sibling, you know what that's like. And so I think there's no, you can't rush it. There's no instant gratification or instant connection, but I do think the authenticity of it, I think that's what served our program well for the years.
So when we've had, you know, Kyle on the show, Zach on the show, and they've all talked about, like, when we ask them about some of the new guys coming in, right? Like, hey, great player, but it always comes back to, like, in your system, it can be very difficult, and it takes time to be able to learn things, to be effective, where you can work as one cohesive unit, especially on the defensive end, in order to be a really good team. How do you adjust with what you said earlier? It's like, okay, we got these transfers in, and now we've gotten big now. We've got more athletic.
Maybe just for 1 year with some of them, yeah.
And now the expectations from the fans' perspective have gone way up, and you go, okay, well, hey, this is going to take some time for the system, or do you have to change what you're doing in order to help them fit in more quickly?
That's a great question, Joe.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Coach.
Yeah, I think for us as a coaching staff, there's going to need to be some tweaks or concessions. Like, again, I'm not so stuck in my way that, like,
really? Sorry.
We've got to be like. There's again accountability for what we do on the defensive end. You got to be hard to play against. But I just think when you only have a duration of time that is reality for them and for us, you got to maximize it. And so we've been already in discussions of that as a staff. And what we need to find out is who plays well with whom, and what kind of tempo we can play with, and if that added length and size can give us a little different look on either end of the floor. And we'll make some of those assertions in the summer. But I hope by the fall we kind of know where we are, because it's something that I feel like we as a staff really, really want to honor. That's the opportunity to be a part of Liberty and competing for a championship. Like that's who we've been.
Yeah. Last question for me. You know, you think back to the leadership you've had in terms of, you know, in that locker room. You know, Kyle rode for 5 years. You had that, you know, ultimate selfless example of a Darius McGee for 5 years. Those guys that kind of held their teammates to a standard, right? Those kind of, maybe they led in different ways, but leaders. You have so many people move on, Kyle Rode being the biggest one in terms of leadership. Who's the guy now with so many new faces coming in that locker room, or maybe it's more than one, that is going to be like, hey, this is how we do it here. Like, this is the standard. Because I know coaches can do so much, but you really like having those players that kind of help echo your message.
Yeah, it's always best when it's your best players that are doing that. And I think, obviously, with Caden and Zach coming back, both of them garnered some all-conference accolades at the end of the year. I think they're the primary candidates, but Gabriel will be in his 6th season, so he's actually got a big voice in that locker room. And I think Matt, honestly, you always hear about it being a coach-led program, but the best is a player-led program. Look, that's our expectation. Like, our guys got to own that, and we've had some unbelievable leaders. Maybe none better in the history of my programs or the programs that I've been fortunate enough to lead in Kyle Rote. So I think the cream will rise to the top because of the character that our group possesses.
That was a great question, Matt.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking
I'm
that.
glad you know.
Appreciate you.
Coach, do you want to share the starting 5 that you're going with in game 1?
Yeah.
You know what? I'll tell you what. I'll let you pick it.
Oh.
Oh, wow,
And then
finally.
you can be subjected to the opinions of it.
I do want to say that I wrote down and listened very closely to a lot of the great questions during March Madness, so I am ready for that first game, Flames Nation. You're still going to make me look like a complete idiot, but that's totally fine. No, I'm kidding. What do you have planned this summer other than like getting this team gelled together? You doing anything with the fam?
Yeah, I have a family.
Yeah.
And,
With the fam?
We plan on doing something. I don't know what yet. I'll know when I'm
You'll
told.
find when you go to the airport.
Yeah.
That's the best trip.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No, I'm looking forward to a good summer. Like, we have a great appreciation for being where we are, and just excited about the new guys and our blending of the old, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, we have a deep, great appreciation for you. One of my favorite head coaches on this campus.
One of them.
One of them.
Yeah.
She says
My
that everyone
favorite
that comes
coach.
on. She says
Yes,
that.
no. I really appreciate you coming on and telling us
Did you hear
about
that,
this new
Scott
addition.
Jackson?
No. I'm really excited about this new team. It seems like we do the Why Liberty series of why these players choose Liberty. So we have a lot of new features that we will be coming.
And
that will be
listen,
coming
I
your
haven't
way.
talked to him yet, but when I saw the social media post that Gabriel was coming back, my first thought was
Players Lounge.
Season 2. Season 2 of the Players Lounge.
Season
We got a lot of
2.
new candidates for him to interview, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I got a lot of chastisement on when the recruits dropped and they had the AI Ritchie on there with the dance.
that video, yeah.
I thought that was you. That was AI?
That wasn't that combo, no. That was not that combo, yeah.
Yeah, that was a Gabriel dance move, though. Trust
Oh,
me.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay, good. Well, I'm glad he's sticking around.
Yeah.
You good?
We're
You got
good.
anything else for
We're
Coach?
good.
Thanks so much again for coming on. Coach McKay, always great to have you on the Flame Central podcast powered by. Wait, before we go,
Come on,
we
give
need
it to
an
him one more
updated
time.
version.
Updated version, Coach.
Flame Central podcast.
Powered
Into
by-
this
powered
camera,
by the
please.
Flame
Powered.
Central
Do you want me to hold it for you,
Alcova
Coach? Here you
No,
go.
but honestly, thank you guys for all you do for Liberty Athletics. You guys are elite, and
Oh, elite.
I would cry.
we really enjoy watching.
Well, Joe didn't shave, but Matt and I got really dressed up for the show this week. Whenever Coach McKay comes on, you know it's a special treat. You got to
You're
get
watching the Flame Central podcast, sponsored by Alcova Mortgage.
powered.
That's a cut.
See how hard my job is?
Yeah, we'll take that again.
One more.
Do I really have to?
You got
Yeah.
this. It's for
Yeah,
Joe,
you
not
got it.
me.
It's for your old buddy.
You're watching the Flame Central podcast, powered by Alcova Mortgage.
There you go. Yeah.
All right, Coach McKay, thanks
Thank you,
again for
Coach.
coming
Thanks,
on.
Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Well, it's always fun talking to Ritchie McKay. He really could be the fourth host. If we wanted to dub who could be the fourth guy, he gets the show. You can tell by the way he talks trash to Emily while he's here. He fits in nicely with this crew. So we love having Coach McKay on. Interested to see how this team melds and comes together. By the way, he mentioned 4 players. If you've read reports, nothing official yet, but it sounds like they're not done. So there could be another addition, just not official yet. So we weren't able to talk about that with Coach McKay. But keep your eyes out for any future additions for Liberty basketball. Well, listen, if you want to be a part of the show, flamecentral@liberty.edu. That is our email address. We want you to send us any questions you have, any stories you want us to pursue further. We're having some alumni on this summer That's the plan. We'll do some Zoom interviews and things like that, touch base with some great former Flames that you may remember, just catch up with them, see what they're up to. So that's part of the plan for this summer. People are asking, are we going to continue having a show during the summertime? We are. It may just look a little bit different. So if there's anybody you want us to catch up with, send us an email, flamecentral@liberty.edu. If you have any questions about these new basketball editions, anything you heard from Ritchie McKay, what football's doing in the transfer portal, hit us up. We'd love to talk about it. So hit us up on the mailbag, and we would love to chat with you. Hey, don't forget, I know Joe's not here, so I feel like I need to do it. Alcova.com/Liberty. If you're in the market for a house, he can hook you up. Cash back. Up to $5,000 cash back he can give you if you're a Liberty student, alum, staff member. So Alcova.com/Liberty. Joe would want me to make sure I got that in there. So don't be afraid to reach out to Joe Yauch, Jauch. Look him up on the Google machine. He would love to chat with you if you're in the market for a new home. That's about it for this week. We hope to have the whole crew back here again next week. We missed out. Joe had a birthday while we were gone. I do have a special gift for him next week, so you're going to want to return for that and see what that is. But for now, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you right back here at the Flame Central Podcast a week from now.